this one here?
No, but I'm going to wait until everyone else sits down first.
I'm happy to sit on there.
I'll sit on that's all right.
That's a tiny thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's alright.
Everyone, do you want the nicer seat?
No.
Okay.
It's much more comfortable than the floor of course.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, nice to meet you, sir. Thank you for giving up
Right,
the time.
so, if I'm right, you're the person I've been emailing recently
Yes.
about the most business activities.
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
My name's Robin Young.
Robin Young, yeah, so, right.
Hello, sir.
This
Hi.
is
Nice to meet you.
my father, Nicholas. He's also my carer.
How you doing?
Nice to get the comfortable chair.
Right. I'm glad you're all sitting down because I'm a bit tired of police officers standing up moving over me. So, good. Good
That's
start.
all right. No problem.
Right, have you got the agenda?
Yeah.
Did you both guys get the agenda sent down from Sunday?
Let's see.
Yeah, we've got a copy anyway. Yeah. So what we have here is the outcomes of the last meeting when officers attended pursuant to the property damage report.
Yeah.
We had 2 officers come down. This is the actions that happened after that meeting as agreed.
Right.
Cheers.
And that is going to be the agenda for this meeting.
Right. Well, now the agenda for this meeting is that, first of all, I'm going to inform you that I've spoken with your neighbours on last Wednesday,
Yeah.
and I served them with an antisocial behaviour warning notice under
Okay.
Section 2 of the
Thank you. Yeah.
Police Criminal Evidence Act 2014. Basically, it gave them 3 actions, basically.
Yeah.
One is not to contact Right Move estate agents again. Obviously, I've done my inquiries with that, and it came back to the address of their address.
Well,
Well, it's someone with access to that modem.
yeah.
Secondly, it's for them to not use social media platforms to refer to anyone at this address.
Okay.
That includes WhatsApp, Facebook,
Yeah.
Nextdoor, and the like.
Okay.
And thirdly, to have no direct or indirect contact with yourselves. If there is an issue that comes up or they wish to speak to you, they don't contact you whatsoever. They come through police or email
Okay.
us as a third party.
Because that's last Wednesday.
That's last Wednesday, and I served that, and that's the report's been created based on that.
Okay. So
and-
when did all that stuff happen?
Before you were away on Wednesday. Nothing has happened since. There's been no
Okay, that
contact
was
since.
the day after. Okay, so that's after. Right. Good.
Okay.
Also, is that
One
a
second.
document? Sorry, I just wonder, is that a document that we can have a copy of so we know what's in it?
No, you can't have a copy of it, but there is. I've served them with a document.
Okay.
However, to counter that, I'm going to serve Michael with an antisocial behaviour warning notice as well. And that's again for 3 points. One is again not to refer to neighbours at 56 on any social media platform, including Nextdoor, Facebook. Not to have any direct or indirect contact, and just to move the position of the CCTV cameras away from the point towards the house.
Right.
And I understand you've blacked out some images. However, we don't feel that there's any need for the camera to be pointed towards someone else's house. In the evidence that Adrienne sent us on your behalf, the footage does show the camera pointed into their house.
What's it-
that's been
Start
changed.
Before you
again.
serve it, are you prepared to come round and look at the various cameras and see whether you think any of them are covered by that notice? The existing cameras.
I've seen the footage, so
Yeah.
at some point that was I've included a large print and a normal size print for both of you, okay?
And did they at any stage say have they produced any evidence that Michael's ever commented about them on social media?
They have, yes.
Because we haven't seen it.
Right.
We don't know that they have.
Well,
There's only two times they've been ever
yeah.
mentioned.
Well, I,
Once they mentioned
from today's from the 28th onwards, all I'm saying is don't refer to your neighbours on social media. There's no need for anyone to contact.
Yeah, but
refer to
it
them.
hasn't been.
Well, that's fine then. Well, in that case, there's no issue, is there? So I'll put that on the table there.
Okay.
That's a copy for both of you.
But
Right.
Okay. So basically, both sides are now being. It explains that obviously this is a very low level. It's basically an antisocial behaviour warning. Okay. Obviously, it can lead to a community protection notice.
I need to understand what you're saying. Are
Okay.
you saying that what's in there is almost word for word what's next door, what they serve next door?
It's similar. There's obviously slight differences because this one's referring to the CCV,
Yeah,
so
okay.
there's a slight difference. Okay. So the letter, a competent letter explaining everything.
Okay.
Like, there's
Basically-
so many things wrong with this. I don't know where to start.
Okay. Well, obviously, Adrienne and Charles are both aware. There's basically a CMARC meeting that I should be attending on Wednesday, which is basically a partner agencies, and I should be updating them what the actions that I've done. And really, we need to sort of move forward, and I encourage you to, in the letter, to work with Charles and Adriana going forward, because it's key that we work sort of positive steps to sort of work through this. It may be that you're never going to be best friends with next door, and that you just get on with each of your lives and you have no contact with each other. That's fine. That happens
It's
sometimes.
not fine, that's not acceptable in any way, shape or form.
Well, there's no reason for you to contact next door.
I am
or
the
discuss.
victim of several crimes, which are just ignoring completely, and the result of my being harassed for the last year is I get the same punishment as they get. That doesn't work. That's not reasonable.
They
That's
feel
not...
they're being harassed because of the CCTV that you provided.
The reason why those cameras exist is because they were harassing me, and the police told me there's no evidence of harassment. I thought I'm safe in my own home, so I installed those cameras for my protection and safety.
Right.
And now you're using that as evidence against me.
You can keep the cameras, but you can't point them towards the
They're not
house.
pointing towards his house.
And that's fine. In that case, you're obliging to what I've asked you to do. So
But we
that's
haven't
fine.
done any.
But we need
You
to.
ask us to do something that hasn't happened. That's unfair, unreasonable, and unconscionable.
It is, because I've seen the footage that you provided. Myself and my colleagues, we've reviewed the footage that Adrienne sent on your behalf, and it shows looking into their house.
It does not.
It does, because I've looked at it.
What the fuck?
It shows the outside
What
of
the hell
their
are you
house as an
talking about?
incidental to a different picture. Are you saying we can't take pictures of our own garden?
You
Because
can
they
take
might
the
get...
camera can view towards your garden. and
No,
not
any
catch the edge.
cameras in the garden. I won't take a picture of my garden.
I think I've already provided the guidance on this. I'm happy to send it again, but you can't position your cameras towards someone else's
We
property.
haven't done this.
You don't have the
So
right to do that.
do you accept that not one camera is pointing at their property? Their property is only in there incidentally.
No, I don't accept that. No.
Well, could you explain? Could you show me a picture where you think that that's not true?
Where's this picture?
Well, I've seen the footage.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but-
you've
but
seen it. What
you're
have you
looking
seen
at-
now?
The footage that you provided, sir.
What footage? I've provided so
camera.
many bloody
Not
videos.
one
I know you
photograph
have.
is pointed at their house as a main part of the picture.
Right.
Their house is incidental to what the
I
camera is pointing at.
understand, Adrian, if you want to step in, you viewed it until it's blacked out.
See
Is that right?
the parts where you've added the cover in the app you showed me,
Yes.
that you could cover bits where
Yes.
the scope covers the outside, like in the peripheral you can see parts of their property, and you had covered it to make sure that you weren't capturing any of the children or visitors. And it's that area, because they can't see the full-time feed that it's blacked out, it makes them uncomfortable. That's why they just want it, the cameras
Right,
to stay
so-
to just...
No. Stop. Wait a minute. The system I have includes various safeguards to make sure it can remain compliant with ICO requirements. That is a privacy screen that is installed correctly in accordance with manufacturer's instructions. And you're telling me that just because they feel that the camera is pointing at them, quote unquote, that gives them the right to then make a counterclaim against me because they were harassing me, so I installed a system to provide evidence against them for harassing me. Those cameras are configured correctly.
You can have a
and you're holding
CCTV
that
camera, but
against
you
me.
can't point it towards someone
It
else.
is not pointed towards the house.
Then that's fine then. Well, when it's not, then that's
But
fine.
you just said they are pointing.
So
You're giving me-
Nicholas, I don't know now, do I? What I do know is that within the big bulk of evidence that Michael provided us, in the footage, at some point the camera was pointing towards their house. Whether
It never was,
Michael's
ever.
moved it since then, that's fine.
Yes, I think
It's
the
never
only
been
thing-
moved.
Yeah.
It's never pointed at the house. Whatever you're looking at, I don't know what you're looking at, but whatever it is,
Well, it's what
it
you
is not
provided
in the
Adriana.
still image or in the moving
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
In the still one or the moving one? Do you remember?
It was a still image.
Because I think this is very...
This is horrible.
It is, unless you're able to explain to him why what you're saying is necessary.
Right, it's necessary because I've
No, you need to provide the piece
One
of
second,
paper. Okay,
Nicholas,
all right.
please. I provided an ASB warning to your neighbours, not to have any direct contact or indirect contact with you, with anyone in this house. Okay, that's to both Charlotte and Jack. All right. All right. To counter that, my request to be served that as well. I can't have someone goading into someone to cause them to have contact. Michael can't have any direct or indirect contact with neighbours. Okay. Likewise, I've been given evidence from both sides of various comments on social media posts. Jack and Charlotte are not to make comments on particularly next door, but any social media. Likewise for Michael. Okay.
Does that cover them? Just to make clear they understand it. They have twice managed to get him barred from social media by lying to social media. Does what you've said cover them not talking to the managers of social media?
They're not to have any contact with social media people. So no, they're not. No. They can't make any comments on social media.
No, not on social media. They've directly reported to the managers of social media in a way that has meant he's been barred from social media. You can't comment on them because they barred him.
In the morning, were they told not to refer to Michael on social media? So would that cover reporting him to a platform as well?
In strict use of the English language, that's not on social media. That is dealing directly with the managers of social media. And if that doesn't cover that, it needs to be in there because they've done it twice to him by lying.
Once because one of the officers came here, found sensitive personal information out about me, went straight next door and told Charlotte the same personal identifiable information about me, which they then used to then bar me from social media.
And you currently barred at the moment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know, is that a time scale on that? Is that a temporary thing or?
I don't know.
They said 30 days, but they're not bound by it. They will do it.
They can do what they want.
In other words, if they...
But likewise, you're not to use social media now anyway, until today's date anyway, so that's...
What, sorry?
You're not to use any social media post to post about next door
Oh
anyway.
no, well you never did.
I never have. What I want to see this evidence, quote unquote, which you are using to base this action on, because why
do you need to use social media to discuss your neighbours?
He doesn't. That's the point.
I haven't.
So when you sent us an email saying about that there was suspicious people outside your address,
I didn't know who they were.
Well, it's your next door neighbour.
Look at him. He's blind.
For fuck's sake! Fuck
Listen,
you! Bloody hell!
It's your next door neighbour.
I am blind.
Michael.
I don't know who
Michael.
I was looking at.
Right.
I didn't know it was them at the time until after they came
Right.
and admitted it was them after the event.
Right.
I did not know.
Okay.
The only times I've ever
So you
reported to
didn't
them
know.
on next
So
door
in
were
that
people
case-
that did not know existed.
Yeah, so probably in that case, it's probably best not to use social media posting if you don't know. All right.
But that's not reasonable.
No,
that's unreasonable. That's unfair.
Michael, just a moment.
Bloody.
Well, your next door neighbour was outside his own dress. So.
The next door guidance is please report suspicious behaviour in the street.
Right.
And this
I'm
was
using
a
the system
suspicious behaviour
correctly.
in the street. So that he was complying with the social media guidelines. And you're now saying he can't even do that.
He can't refer to his neighbour.
I did not
So
refer to my neighbours.
are you saying that referred to his neighbour?
It did not.
Well, it did because it was his next door neighbour, wasn't
No,
it?
no. Look, no one. If you look at that,
This
how many
is-
people could, looking at that coverage, could say that was them?
Well,
There were
because
two hooded people carrying large.
we had the
bits of-
logo with the next door company on there.
No.
It did.
The van wasn't part next door, but the association
We're
with
going
the name
round
of the
circles.
van.
It's quite clear in the letter. I'm not going to go round in circles with this, all
We're
right?
not going to
I don't want you
circles.
to...
We're
Listen,
trying to describe to you that
Okay,
you are
look, Michael, I think
making
we can
horrible
stop.
mistakes.
Mike, can we stop?
No, we cannot stop.
No.
This is miscarriage of justice.
No,
Every
you've said
bloody way I
that.
can
You've
put
said
so.
that. Michael, you said that.
You do not understand. You're not listening to us.
No.
You're repeating the same garbage.
Right.
This is garbage. What you're talking
Well, I'm
about
sorry you
here
feel like that.
is...
so-
No, I don't feel
unfortunately-
like this. This is absolutely wrong.
Okay, well,
Michael, could you
we're trying
stop?
to be
You've made
clear,
the
okay?
point. You've made the point. You made the point.
We don't want it to make me anxious using social media, right?
Look, I
I think we
have
all
not
agree.
done
We
anything
don't want you to
wrong.
be using social media to discuss next door.
I
okay?
have not done
No,
so.
okay.
So that's
Can
fine.
you
So
accept?
that's fine then.
Can you?
It's not fine because
No,
you're
no, Michael,
punishing me
please stop.
for something I have not done.
Michael.
That is not reasonable.
Michael, look, you haven't got the diazepam. You can't have the current. Please, either be quiet for a moment, let this meeting come to an end, or you've got to go upstairs and take a diazepam or something, because you're going to get into trouble in a minute.
I'm already in trouble right now.
Okay.
You're not in trouble. You're not in trouble. He's not in trouble.
No. Talk medically. He's in serious difficulty in starting another seizure because of what's going on now.
Yeah. Well,
Please understand that the thing that has caused the seizure in the past is when he's been treated unfairly. when what he believes is true has been told is false. And this is effectively what you're doing now. So could you...
In your opinion?
No. We will come back to you based on that with a long and detailed report of why what you've done is wrong and why it's incorrect and why we want it corrected to tell the truth. Because we've received this, we understand it, and until it gets corrected, we understand this applies.
Yeah.
But you will get quite a long and detailed complaint.
There's basically 3 options, okay? First is not to have any direct or indirect contact next door. Do you understand that?
Which we haven't been. They've always done
I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking from today onwards. I'm not interested in what happened previously. From today onwards, you're not to have any contact with next door.
So could you first explain why you need to do that?
Because they've made an allegation for harassment.
And have you checked that allegation?
Yes.
And what were the facts they said we harassed them?
I've explained that already. I've got a CCTV camera pointing towards their house.
Which it isn't.
Okay, well, that's fine. Right. So you're going to obey by that. So that's one of the second things.
No,
So we're going around in a circle.
We're not,
listen to me.
because there's 2 sets of facts. You're saying both are true and they're contradictory. We have social media. We have security cameras in order to protect him. He doesn't dare go out in the street because he's afraid of being attacked by them. And we were told by the police to provide evidence, to keep security here so that we could feel safe. You're saying that we can't do that.
No, I'm not. Please don't twist the words. You can have a CCTV camera, but you can't point it towards next door's property.
It's pointing at this back door here, but these cameras have a wide lens. We can't control that.
Well, can you not position you just in a camera from the house looking down towards the garden?
No, but that doesn't catch people going out of the house, does it?
Why do you need to go outside the house?
Because that is the proper security thing, that if people are in the house and then escape, you can only see them if they're going that way.
But
the camera's coming towards
who's going
the
to escape from here?
Yeah, he is.
No, I'm sorry, I don't understand.
For security, he wants a view of the door. So you can see if people are coming in or out of the door, rather than the view coming from on the top of the door.
As long as it's only on your property and not next door.
It's pointing direct at this back door, and these are wide-angle lenses. There's a bit of next door there.
Well, in that case, you need to position it such facing down towards the garden rather than the door.
It's not possible.
We have used. So you're saying we're not allowed to take pictures of people exiting at our house?
You're not allowed to show. You're not allowed to record footage that's showing next door's address.
You see how you have the block put on through the app?
I think you've been given guidance on that already.
You could probably get a physical cover for the
name. You can't record someone else's property, sir. I don't know how many times I go around this. You don't have permission to do that.
Stand here.
So it's contradicted to everything else we've been told.
No, you can have CCTV cameras on your property, but not record next door. If you've got wide-angle lenses and you change the type of lenses...
We've had 3 sets of police officers here looking at that camera, looking at the thing, saying, yes, that's okay. Now you're telling us it's not
when it's recorded next door, no.
No, they have looked at it and been here and looked at it and looked at the coverage and said, yes, that's okay, because it's incidental.
Well, I'm telling you, you can't record next door's property, all right? You cannot point your camera towards next door.
Okay, because we can go in big circles here, right? And I'll be honest with you, he's right in saying we're going around in circles. Now, if the cameras are not pointing at the property, next door's property, then there's no issue, is there? In theory.
But you use the word point, and the thing is pointing at our property. Okay. It happens they're wide angle, so it catches the other property.
And they have been properly configured.
Is there no way they can be a little bit lowered, so it's still pointing at the property?
They have been properly configured, so they are safe and compliant with ICO requirements. I've been in contact with them. I have talked with them.
The problem is that the neighbour doesn't know that. They don't know that
you're relying on trusting you. You're relying on trusting you.
They've made an allegation that they don't feel safe.
No. They have made a nonsense allegation, knowing it is nonsense, knowing it means nothing. They will lie.
They don't consider it nonsense, do they?
But you're not trying to bomb inside the
house.
I think,
is it? Do we need PC Young here anymore? Because the fact is, he and I...
We work together, so...
We're sort of talking different languages.
Why do you say that?
Because we said it's pointing at the back door, and you said that's okay, and then you say the same word, but it can't record next door's property.
Yes.
So what?
Why you position the camera so it doesn't record any of next door's property? I think Charles said the same thing.
We have done everything that possible.
Michael, stop. So we'd have it here, pointing at but so close to the back door that it can't keep anyone's next door's property included.
Yes.
Okay. So, and as far as you're concerned, the ICO guidance is wrong.
You can't record next door's property. That's in the ICO.
The ICO guidance.
It does not say that. It does not say anything like that.
We've been in touch with them, and they said it's what we've got is fine.
I've sent the ICO
not
copies of my footage and said, is this compliant? They said yes. They said, you're using the privacy screens, therefore you are compliant. We have made reasonable provision to use the technology as it is required to be used, and they have told us.
And you have that confirmation from the ICO. Would you be willing to share that just with Nextdoor so that they can know that you are compliant and you are not breaking any laws by filming?
Right.
Because I think that's where the issue is.
No,
you know that you've done everything to cover yourself.
The issue is they are habitual liars. They make up crap just because they know it will cause offence. You have to understand that.
And
if you do not understand
we have to from my point of view, we have to remain objective, okay?
By showing the proof from the ICO and from your privacy screens, or if you want to just show them the position that this can end, they can be
that gives them power and control over me. Right. They should not know how my security systems work.
Michael, they're a young family. They just want to get on with their lives.
They're not a young family. They're not trying to get on with their lives. They are trying to kill me.
They're 1.5-year-old boy there.
Yeah.
So it's a young child. So it's a young family, right?
They are a nuisance set of people who are trying to kill me. Start with that assumption. Forget about the fact they live next door. They should be treated as if a random person somewhere in the UK is targeting me and harassing me. The fact they're next door is irrelevant. They have publicly accused me of being a paedophile when his child was not on the property, when no one was there that was young, and no images were recorded in any way, shape or form that could possibly ever record the child.
Your caseworker and caseworker and myself will work together. What we might try and do is work towards an acceptable behaviour contract, aren't we? Possibly, okay? And outline exactly what the best way going forward. We need to work positively going forward. This is your home, Michael, and we want you to live here, be happy here, okay?
Yes, and to be happy, I need to be safe. And to be safe, I need security. And I have got security, which is compliant.
And you can have
security. And has never not been compliant.
And this doesn't say you can't have security or CCTV.
But you are telling me I have in the past done something wrong, and that is categorically wrong. You're misunderstanding, not using information correctly.
I'm sorry you feel that way. Going forward, I'm not interested about. I'm not talking about the past. Is the past.
No.
Going forward today.
No.
I don't want your camera tools next door.
Stop. Right? No. We're not going to forget everything that's happened in the last 2 years.
I've not asked you to.
So we're not going
I'm here to discuss about today.
We're not going to move forward. We're going to discuss the crimes they have committed and get them prosecuted for those crimes.
Right.
By submitting that information to Whiteman, it is a violation of Whiteman's terms of service.
I've already dealt with that.
No, you have not.
I have. I've spoken Wednesday. I've already discussed that.
No, you have not.
I have.
Listen.
About 20 minutes ago, Michael.
No, listen to me.
They've already been served with the notice and that must be dealt with.
No, it has not been dealt with. That is not an appropriate punishment for the crime of identity theft and computer misuse and abuse.
Right, well,
that is actually a proper crime that needs to be prosecuted. And if you're telling me that somehow that is not a crime, what the fuck? How did you tell me?
Please watch the damage. I'll give you one more to watch the damage. I'm here to explain what's going to happen, okay?
Can we just compare, Michael, can I ask a different question? What did you do about the RSPCA one?
I've discussed with the RSPCA. They've come back and it's an anonymous source, and they're not. I can't disclose who it is.
They said,
what happened with the RSPCA officer? Did they attend in the end and discuss it with you yourselves?
I had one visit from the RSPCA accusing me of cruelty to hedgehogs.
Right.
Okay. Now.
Have you harmed a hedgehog?
No.
I used to be a wildlife officer. I only say that because I used to be a wildlife officer. Okay. I should also explain that I used to be a sim officer, so I've worked with mental health the last 2 years.
Why is it? The assumption is
Nicholas,
everything I say must be
questioned. I used to be a sim officer, so I used to work with people in Wilson Hospital with mental health patients. Right. All right. Okay. So when he says I understand that.
Okay, but just can I do the hedgehog story?
Okay. Do the hedgehog story.
Right. We spotted through the internal camera that there was a hedgehog outside that was running backwards and forwards and taking up residence in that green shed just outside there. Michael made a safe place for it in there and put food in there.
Right.
Shortly afterwards, about 1 o'clock in the morning or something, there was a crash outside, and we found that the hedgehog was trying to crawl under the fence down there, the hedgehog highway, and it had a broken back. It was desperately trying to get through to this side. It had a broken back. Yeah. We're absolutely convinced he killed it. Right. Because no one else could have done it.
Right.
1 in the morning, I've got evidence.
Did you see that or anything?
No, all I'm saying it's 1 in the morning, Michael heard the crash, and all we did is found the hedgehog with a broken back underneath one side The nose at our side of the fence and the back side his side of his
It's
fence.
probably an agony, wasn't it? Probably,
Well, it was dead.
Right, it died.
Yeah, I mean, his back had been broken.
I've got an audio recording of it being killed.
Anyway, so the point is,
At the time
That-
of which
that was-
I was on social media
and-
talking to
So
one
the
of my
Michael,
RSPCA
no, can I
changed
just say
because of
you-
that?
No. The story, just you must see the sequence. Sequence is we had set up a little camera to record the hedgehog coming and going, and it was on no social media with a little group, all of whom had become fans of this hedgehog to watch it coming and going. So Michael posted a thing on there saying it's been killed, and Jack's been stalking Michael on social media. It doesn't matter how private the group he tries to have, he finds his way in and then makes comments about him. He's been doing this throughout. He did.
Well,
So anyway, the point was
that plays into the warning that he's been given us from
yeah,
Wednesday
I know,
onwards. That
I know.
shouldn't happen
I
now,
understand. But the
Okay.
point
I hope
is,
you're happy
very
with
short,
that.
within about a week after that, we suddenly get an RSPCA office at the front door saying we've had a report of hedgehog cruelty. What are you doing to hedgehogs?
Right.
And they said they'd
Can
had
you
an
explain
anonymous.
what happened in that?
No, they said they'd had an anonymous phone call, so they had to come round. They came in, and the woman in question, it was a lady officer, came in. Michael told her what happened. He showed her the safe place we'd made for it, and the separate hedgehog box down there. And she said, yes, that's exactly the right thing you should have done. There's nothing to report here. Terribly sorry about the hedgehog that died, but as far as this report is concerned, it's clearly a false report. I'm going away. Right. So we said, will you be able to tell the police, give any information about where you got this report from? And she said yes.
Yeah, well, I've said it's multiple officers in the RSPCA, and they've come back and they won't disclose it to police. Therefore, it's not a level that they would disclose. It's an anonymous source, and they have to protect their sources. I have that in writing, so
all right. So okay, but we're useful for us to know that that's what you've done, because it's not on the record that you've done it.
Well, no, that's why I'm here today. This is my first time visiting here.
I know. But
I'm sorry it's taken much time. I rejoined the ward in January, so this is all within a space of about 6 weeks.
So we're talking about an anonymous call which happened, and there's a sequence. Every time we do something that means the police talk to them, within a week something bad happens to us, which can be traced back to them.
Which
it's almost certainly them.
It's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's
I
also,
understand that.
Also, again circumstantial, but it is evidence nonetheless. On next door, I've hidden our identity, so everyone knows we're in Shepherd Lane, but nobody on that group knew we're number 54. The only person who knew it was 54 Shepherd Lane was him.
So,
and that is itself evidence.
So there is a whole sequence of these where he has attacked us every time it looks like he's being on the defensive. He found some way of attacking us. There's a whole series of those.
I think is it in the pack that you provided, Adrienne? Yeah, that's it.
And
that's one. We've gone through all that.
It would not surprise me if we get another attack soon. That will.
If he does, he's in breach of his warning notice.
Yeah,
and there's further. There's a letter explaining basically. There's further step. The warning notice that I've served your neighbours is the first step, but it isn't the end. If that makes sense.
Right.
I have to serve it in order to progress up the various chain of actions that police and department actions can do. I have to serve this initially. All right. So if they do breach that, and if they do contact social media, then you contact police.
Okay.
And then I'll
if we can tick off all the things, then the last time the police went round to warn him off, it was only about 2 weeks ago or so,
wasn't it?
No, 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago.
Right. That when they were knocking on the door.
For 10 minutes, which is selfish.
The day after the police came round, they came round and knocked on the door again, even though the policeman had told them not to do it. They were complaining about some non-existent noise from our.
Well, again, Nicholas, I would say that in the notice and letter that I've served them, it's clearly
this is no formal.
So this is from Wednesday. Whatever date that was.
Okay, fine.
Date now, but from last Wednesday. All right.
Okay. So.
Onwards.
The other thing that was outstanding was this question of the damage to our fence. Has that been followed up at all?
It has, and I've given a rationale and emailed you both with that. I'm happy to send that through to you again.
Have we got the pictures showing what the damage is of anything to our fence?
I think Michael's room in the pack there was footage provided of.
No, but what about from the other side? Because your colleague went round there and she had her body cam on. so that which should have been able to see what level of damage has been caused to our fence posts there.
Yeah.
Have you got that?
I'm pleased with it. Pleased with it. Yeah.
Yeah, but have you looked at it?
I've looked at everything.
Yeah,
all the facilities provided.
What we need to know is
all I know is that matter's been dealt with, and the rationale's been sent to you both. But I'm happy to go home.
when you
get
say
back to
that
office later
you say the rationale it's been dealt with.
I've sent you the rationale. You've already replied.
Yes,
to
and
that,
we replied to that, and you're wrong.
I mean, I'm sorry you consider that wrong, but I'm not here to discuss previous matters.
Have you done pace ever? I mean,
the point is, he put this bloody great bonfire alongside it.
That's another issue. All this has been encompassed in what I've served them.
yeah,
What I've served them Wednesday encompasses
Okay,
everything.
This
Okay?
is-
All right.
I know there's,
Sorry,
I know
but
there's complaints going on with certain
Okay,
officers.
all
And
right.
that's for yourselves and the officers,
Right.
and that's been dealt with.
So if we don't know everything he's been served with, and then we just had your verbal comment here, we don't know at least a written summary of what he's been
Well, I
served
think I sent
with.
you a written summary regarding the criminal damage.
No,
allegation.
I'm
That's what
talking
we sent
about the equivalent of that you've served on him.
Yeah.
If we don't know what his restrictions are, how do we know what we can report?
That's where the you can do the acceptable behaviour contract.
Yeah.
You get to have input into what things you want to restrict, and what behaviours or.
Yeah, I'm happy to send you an email. That's the easiest
Yeah,
form.
if you could send an email saying, summarising
What
what you served on him,
Yes, that's fine.
that means we've got it in, we know what we've got,
fair.
we don't have to remember it,
Yeah.
and then we know what we can and can't report.
That's fine. That's
Okay.
no problem.
so what we're saying now is after 2 years of issues affecting my health forever.
Well, and in a letter it says that I've asked you to stress to work with Adrienne, myself, and Charles here. We want you to be happy and enjoy and be safe here.
The only way I can be safe here is if Jack Connell is held accountable for the crimes he has committed. And what you're telling me is,
I'm
after
here
identity
talking about
theft,
you.
after computer misuse and abuse, after tons of social media posts, I've got, you've seen like 50 posts he's made directly about me, calling me a paedophile, calling me a peeping Tom, saying I'm taking illegal photographs of his family, which I've never done, saying he's recorded us several times on social media. After all of that, I get the same punishment he gets. How is that reasonable and how is that fair? I have not gone online and misrepresented myself, pretending to be him and putting his house up for sale. I haven't sent him messages saying, let's see what the police think about you recording young children. I have not done these things, which are against the law. He has done those things, all of which are against the law. There are crimes specifically against all of those things. And you're ignoring all of it and saying, well, the solution is a anti-social behaviour order and a social contract, which makes me as guilty as him. That's not acceptable. I'm the victim of several crimes. I have life-changing injuries because of him. My mother is dead because of him. I'm scared to leave my house alone because of him. And you're telling me the only benefit so far is going to be that he hasn't got to do anything anymore. You're going to ignore the fact that he's spent the last 2 years intimidating, harassing, and making my life misery by lying, cheating, and stealing, threatening to steal my property. That's the last thing to happen, by the way. And the only solution is to give him a stern warning.
Well,
He needs
police
to be cautioned.
you have to bear in mind that they've made allegations as well.
Yes, and their allegations are based on nothing because they lie and cheat. You start from the assumption everything they say is a lie. This can be proven, it has been demonstrated. Why is this so complicated? Do not trust them at face value unless they can give you actual evidence that supports every single thing they say. It should be ignored. I have given you evidence of every single thing. I have obeyed all the laws. I've tried everything I have done to stay within all of the requirements. I've done everything instructed to me, and you're now holding those things
All I
against
can
me.
say is I implore you to please work alongside Charles and Adrienne. And
Michael, can I ask you something? In regards to what Robin said to you in regards to what has been brought forward to you, just if those things aren't happening, then it wouldn't impact you, will it? However, if those things are happening in regards to his end, where he is doing these harassment things, that implicates that's telling him he can't do it. It's also saying, well, if you're not doing it anyway, just continue staying as you are. That's not saying that you're doing it. That's just saying.
From this point onwards, don't do that.
Yeah.
So
Just
say,
But again, you just said it just now. The assumption you're starting from is I have done something wrong, and I have never done any of these things, and I resent the implication, and it is unfair and unreasonable.
I thought you police have received allegations of both yourselves and your neighbours.
Yeah, but the allegations
So
of your
we have to
neighbours
deal with
are
both parties, don't we?
unsupported.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you how long have you
We
lived
just
here
need to
for?
stop the behaviours from both sides. We just need to
I've been here
so we can
before.
start looking at the things that are going on. If we don't kind of like say, hold on a second, just back off for a bit.
Look,
If we,
okay.
but you have to.
About an example, okay. If a woman reports a rape, and she comes to the police and says, I've been raped, you don't then serve her an antisocial behaviour order for walking down the street wearing clothes which aren't appropriate, do you? That's unacceptable, isn't it? You wouldn't do that. And this is basically what you're doing to me. I have reported crimes. I am the victim of a crime, several crimes in fact, and your solution is basically to blame me as equally responsible as the person who's been victimising me.
We're trying to remain impartial here, the police. Allegations have been received from both yourselves and your neighbours, okay?
And we haven't seen any of them. We don't know how to defend against something we haven't seen.
Well, your neighbours haven't seen the things that you've done either. We don't need to do that. It's for police to... Okay?
But you haven't asked us to comment on any allegation, so you don't know whether what you've been told are a pack of lies.
Which most of them.
And why haven't you asked us if what he's saying is true? Why haven't you asked us to respond to it? I mean, that's the bit that seems unbalanced.
The footage that Michael Hart provided,
Yeah.
shows a camera pointed towards their property.
Is that the only allegation they've made?
No, there's social media posts where I believe you've made. Did you do a review of his company?
In February last year, when he wasn't a neighbour.
He wasn't even our neighbour back then.
Have you ever used the company as a service? Have you ever used his company as a service?
No.
What
So why would you do a review about a company you've never used?
Right.
Because he was in here as a contractor, and he was acting like a cowboy. He was doing things which were against the law next door. And the whole point about next door is you report these things.
No, I can't. I'm not going to stand here and go through 12 months worth of allegations.
But that was the only allegation that he was
I'd
named.
employ you to please read the copies that I provided. Okay, going forward, I don't want you to contact your neighbours. All right? Please don't. It's a young family.
So I just want to record it that you have not, nor has he, been able to provide a single time where we have mentioned him on social media, except the February thing when he wasn't a neighbour and he was just a road builder. That's the only time he's ever been named. And
even then, he wasn't named.
And it was just JMC that was named because that was what was on the van.
Well, they've made allegations of harassment.
And so you haven't checked them, and you don't know if they're true, and they could be full of lies, and you don't care.
No, I'm not saying that at all, sir. I'm saying allegations have been made both sides. Okay? The footage that Michael himself has shown a CCTV camera pointing towards the property. All right?
Yes, we've already established this is a
is that going to be repositioned then?
What camera are you talking about? We need to know what camera you're talking about. I need to see the bloody
You
images.
just said that you've got a right-hand camera that
Well,
points
show
towards
the
their
image.
property.
Show us what
We
image
need
is
the
it?
image which you are talking about.
I think
Otherwise
you're
we don't-
talking
I
about
want you
something.
to reposition your cameras.
I think you were
camera?
talking about
Any
something.
camera that's pointing towards next door.
What camera? We can't revisit
We
something.
need to see the picture you're
What are you
referring to,
talking
otherwise
about?
we don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Do you have a CCTV camera pointed towards next door's property?
No, we
Does
never
it
have.
recorded in the next door's property?
No.
Right. In that case, you don't need to worry about anything. do
Yeah.
you?
But do you see the problem with this?
So there's no issue if you're not breaking any.
Look, I need you to come
issues-
outside with me. Could you please come with me now?
Okay, happy to.
Okay, so. Are you listening to this? Are you hearing what I'm hearing? I mean, do you understand why I'm angry here? Yeah?
Okay.
I think he's talking about the header camera. I don't think he's talking about the CCTV footage. I think he's talking about something totally different.
And this camera, does it catch just this bit here, does it?
Yeah.
In that case, you're already Well, the fishing was your neighbour's property.
Yeah, so that was looking at footsteps.
You might well have done, but it was also thrown into your neighbour's property. That's been dealt with, that's not there.
Yeah,
now,
but
and that's fine.
But it was really, really helpful if you see the picture, and the picture that has caused you the concern. Because then we know what we're talking about. We don't know what we're talking about with that tax.
Well, in the last question, we can't prove upset. So if there was a camera there, and take it down, that's fine.
Yeah.
But this is my first time here. I've not been here for 12 months, have I? So.
I know, that's why I'm worried that we've come to a final conclusion.
Well, you haven't.
Been here first.
No. Okay, that's fine. So there was an additional camera that's no longer there.
Well, that's
on the
the-
B feeder. So that's already been addressed. But that's fine. He's not got any issue. So there's nothing to be concerned about, is there?
Okay,
Right.
so
So you've addressed that already.
this camera's fine.
We haven't
No,
addressed
no,
it
no,
what
no.
we did because there was nothing to address.
Okay, no, stop. I think we ought to stop this because we're in a situation. We'll go through that.
Yeah.
We will get comment on it.
That's
we
fine.
will talk
You're
to
welcome to.
Adrian and
I'll send you a
and
copy of
Charles
what
about
I've
it.
served next door as well. So you've got
That
that.
would be really helpful.
Thank you.
With facts.
And
But,
also, Adrienne and Charles have both got a copy of the notice as well.
and
Right?
but if you could let us know which particular picture you're talking about. I think it must have been the one where we're taking a picture of the birds.
Yeah, that's the only one.
It must have been. From
Yeah.
the angle, it would have been that way.
Yeah, so and that is not a security camera. That is a trail camera, and it is there to photograph birds. And the thing in the photograph is a bird. And an anonymous background, blurry, top right-hand corner, I think it is, like 20 pixels or so, happens to be tiny parts of an incidental property, not looking in the windows, not possible to get anything from that. It wasn't even high definition. I purposely said it's low definition just in case.
Right.
Because I understand the law, and I've applied the law, and I'm abiding by the laws, and you are blaming me
In that
for
case,
doing
there's no
so.
issue with that, then, is there?
There is, because it implies there was an issue, and I'm telling you there never was, and you can start with assumptions
Part
there
of
was.
it's both. It's part, Michael, is to protect you as well. It's a known right, and I've told you not to contact your neighbour directly or indirectly. It might be the case that you never have done, or you
But
don't
you're
have intention of
serving
doing it.
me with an injunction, with a
Not an
notice.
injunction,
You're serving
notice.
me with a notice,
Yeah.
which starts from the assumption I have done something wrong, which I have not.
Okay.
That is unfair. That is unreasonable. Do you understand what it makes me feel?
Well, I understand you feel that way. I'm
So-
sorry you feel that way.
So
Unfortunately, that's
the
where we are.
fact that we have now established that the only time that you are aware of where he has named anything to do with next door on social media is the one before they were our neighbours and when he was a road builder, and secondly at the time where
Why did you say it's a road builder?
because he you know that under the local rules that builders are not allowed to light bonfires to get rid of rubbish on front in neighbourhood areas.
Front garden.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
And the first thing he did when he came in here is he took all the cardboard off and put them in the big skip which says "Don't light a fire in here" and lit it
and walked away.
and walked away.
And was going to walk away, leave it until Pete Smith, who's the site coordinator at the time.
The guy who was meant to be supervising the party wall award came down and told him to put it out. And instead of that, he
Well, the
went-
work's nearly finished now, so I don't.
Oh, no. I'm just saying. The only reason that post went up was because as a normal next door thing, you report builders who are not abiding by the laws. So on one day, when we didn't know he was going to be the person who was actually going to move in, he did something which was normally reported. The only other time he's been identifiable, from what Michael has said, is the pictures out there where Michael had no way of knowing it was him. That's the only time he has been mentioned by Michael in any way, on any social media.
Right.
And
Have
I
you
think
alluded
he
to
would-
your neighbour at all any time, or?
No, what do you mean? No, what?
Okay. And obviously the recent ones where you said about suspicious activity outside.
Yeah, that's what
That
I'm
was your
talking about.
neighbours.
Yeah, that's
Look,
the.
We now know it's
Well,
some
when
neighbours.
I'm just saying, it's the only two we're talking about.
January.
That's the only two we're talking
No.
about.
No,
A year apart, nothing in between.
No, I think there's other
Such
comments
as
as well.
would tell us
we need
because
to
we
know.
don't know of them.
Okay. Right.
I
Well,
mean, how do we defend ourselves against things we don't know?
I'm not asking you to defend yourself. I'm asking you from this point onwards not to
Yeah.
refer to your neighbours on social media. All right? Do you understand?
So,
that?
so as long as you
Michael,
understand
look,
it's
you
never
understand
happened.
that.
Look, on social media, look, I've lived here for 40 years, okay?
Yes.
We've had several sets of neighbours in that time.
Mm.
On social media, I often relay stories to help other people
I
understand
know
what's
your
going
previous
on.
neighbour very
And I
well.
do
You-
talk
I've
about
known him very well.
neighbours. So you're telling me I can unlock your social media in a normal social way just because I happen to have
not
a neighbour
discuss your
next
name
door?
at 56, no.
I've never mentioned anyone at 56 ever.
So as long as you agree that there's no evidence he has ever mentioned 56, we can move on. But if you keep
I'm
saying
saying-
that
I'm not,
acting
I'm not
as
here,
if
I
it
don't have to prove that. I have to say that at this point onwards, you not to
Yeah.
refer to his name as
has. So,
Mr.
but do you
I'm here
agree
to- no,
that there's
I
been
don't
no
agree.
evidence that he's ever
No,
done
I
the thing
don't
you're talking
agree
about?
that. I don't agree that.
Well,
No.
how do you not agree?
I'm asking you just from this point onwards. I'm not interested in the past. I can't go here and go back over 12 months of allegations back and forth.
But you're
I'm
using
here
that.
today to say
You're using
moving
that.
forwards.
You're using that to give the notice. If you aren't using the past to give the notice, why are you giving the notice?
Well, only ones I've already established already that you already admitted to doing. You already said
Which
you
was
gave
not
a
our
review.
neighbours in either case.
In both situations, it was impossible for us to know that he was going to be.
It was your neighbours in the footage that you showed.
But we did.
Whether you knew that it was your neighbours or not, it was your neighbours. Right?
It doesn't. So you admit that.
I admit that it's
Whether
your
or
neighbours.
not
in the
we
footage-
know
in,
it's our neighbours.
In the footage that you showed us, that you sent us, it's your neighbours.
So you're saying he's not allowed to take pictures of anonymous people looking threatening outside his front door,
He's
just
not
in
allowed to send
case.
footage of his
Just in case there is
of your
thing.
neighbours.
Yeah,
But we
how would he
didn't
know?
that. How am I supposed to know that?
How
Do
would
you
he know?
understand? I am blind. Does that make any sense to you? All I saw was two black blobs with probably hoods on. They just looked menacing. They're holding big things and walking backwards and forwards.
Studying the house.
Studying the
Well,
house.
I was just unless you confirm who it is, or ask Nicholas to look at the footage. Then you don't put it on social media, all right?
Right. Do you think that is reasonable? Do you think that is fair?
I do think it's reasonable.
No, it isn't. That
It
is
is.
not reasonable because
Nicholas.
I'll tell you why.
Right.
Just
I think
simply
we're going around
so.
circles here.
No, we're not.
We're
We're not going round in circles.
Either of you?
There's a piece of legislation called the Equalities Act 2010. In that legislation, it says
Right.
that you cannot just
it's
randomly
probably
penalise
best-
me
it's probably
and
best
treat
you read
me
the letter that I'll
less
send you.
favourably than anyone else, just
Michael,
because of my
it's probably best you
disability,
read the
which is
letter,
what you are doing.
Michael, I've sent you a large print and a normal size for both of you to read.
Right.
I suggest you read through that, okay?
Right.
And then
Charles?
just comment as you
Yeah.
want from there in regards to what has been served to you today. As I say, it is a notice, and it's from my point of view, obviously, because I don't know the full understandings. You know this, so from my fresh point of view, what I see here, in a way, and I know you're not going to agree with this. For me, it's a positive to say that next door neighbours now have something there to say that they cannot contact you, as well as you're not antagonising them.
So-
And I'm not saying that you are, but at least then, hold on, slow down, because I understand you're going to have loads of questions about what I've just said, but however, it also says that there's no antagonisation from this side, and I'm not saying that there is, but what I'm saying is, if you're already abiding by that, then this shouldn't really. And I understand about why is the notice served anyway, but
Yes.
it's to say that
Yes.
that is there in place to say that, just to offer that protection as well.
And
Yes,
draw a
but-
line in the
but
sand,
we-
basically, isn't
But
it?
we do not know
For that.
what or what not will happen as a result of this. For example, the right
Well,
move incident, which is
I'd read the letter
No,
that explains
no,
that.
listen,
Michael,
listen,
Michael,
listen.
I'm not going to argue with you.
no,
Read the letter
I'm
that
not
explains
arguing.
that.
I'm trying to
Right,
describe
I'm
to
gonna
you.
leave now.
Can we just record one
I'm
thing?
trying to
You
describe
have
to you
given
the
them a
problem.
weapon, and they will use it.
No.
You have given them a weapon.
No, I don't.
What they're going to do is pick up the phone to you and accuse us of something, and you have to come round here and treat us as perpetrators. You have given them a weapon.
I've given both parties an ASB warning notice, okay? We've guided us in the letter,
I
okay?
want it recorded.
Allegation made both sides. It's not a weapon. It's to try and reduce the
Well, you
anxiety
have-
in this
I think
matter.
you've done the opposite. But
Okay. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way.
History
Right.
will-
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you both.
Oh, there's going to be so many complaints raised on this.
On a different note, and
right, hang on, I'll just come with you.
Michael, we need to arrange next time I come and see you.
The next time you see me, you'll have to go to St Henry Hospital, I'd imagine, or the local graveyard. I can't live like this.
Okay. So let me.
This is very, very, very distressing to me.
So, are you available Wednesday next week on the 9th?
9th, yeah.
Yeah, and we can say, I mean, I've got training in the morning, from 1:30, I'm thinking just after lunch.
Yeah.
Would that be
Yeah,
okay?
that's fine.
Is that okay with you as
Sorry,
well?
what?
A week
No,
on
no,
Wednesday?
I won't be here.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
fine.
He's got a friend coming to stay with him to look
Okay.
after him while I'm not here, so she'll be here.
Okay, so, and another thing as well, medication on the Friday, did they give you a blister pack?
No, but what we had was
Because I asked them to put...
what we had was 2 Sterilize.
Yeah, I went to the pharmacist today, and that's what they gave us.
So just give us 2 packs of that.
Okay.
So I haven't got the pepper,
So they didn't give you like a bit of a blister pack?
No.
I'll have a chat with them again,
Did-
because...
but I haven't got the
Oh, of course,
Paracetamol and the other one, and I haven't got any diazepam.
Okay.
All I've got is
All
Sterilize.
they've given is this,
Yeah.
sertraline.
I'm going to
Okay.
I've got nothing else.
Who prescribed you the diazepam originally? Was it that the home treatment team, or was that anyone
No,
else?
that was my GP.
Okay, so that's for the diazepam.
Yeah.
That would be the GP to see in regards to that. I'm afraid
Yeah.
that's
What about the promethazine?
Promethazine.
That's it. Yeah.
the promethazine.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, you can actually buy that over the counter as normal. However,
Yeah, because that's the one that stops the voices.
however,
That's the good one.
is that the one? Did the GP prescribe that one as well?
No, home treatment team did it.
Home
I
treatment.
mean, the crisis team did it.
The crisis team. Okay. What I'll do then is I'll have a chat with my psychiatrist and we'll see if we can get that prescribed promethazine. It's promethazine hydrochloride, is that correct?
Whatever that is, it's the other one.
Oh, quetiapine.
Or something. Yeah.
Oh, it's not. It's not. So,
Yeah.
so you've not had any quetiapine. So is that the last? Is this the last of them? This packet
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And there's also chloroclaterin.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one which is talking about.
Oh, okay.
That one was to replace diazepam, but it's not as good. It doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So in regards, you know what, I'll have a chat with my psychiatrist in regards to saying, obviously, previously had diazepam. Leave the GP for the time being. They may say, oh, because he was prescribed it from the GP, go there. But I'll ask my end first regarding that. Quetiapine is our bag, so that's something that we'll have a look at. So let me just make a quick note of that. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Because obviously we don't.
But in terms of
I've got so many problems right now.
in terms of the nervous stress on Michael,
Mm.
we're talking now about therapy. The worst thing possible has happened today. Because we know Jack next door has just been given a weapon and he will probably use it sooner rather than later. And in terms of the stress on Michael, knowing that he is apparently being treated the same as the perpetrator is a thing that will continue the medical problem. Forget the legal problem, it will
Okay.
continue the medical one.
I completely understand that. So in regards to that, and this is why I'm still going to be liaising with. So it's going to. So what we're going to start doing from here is going to be a telephone call one week and then seeing you the next week. Okay, so it's going to be that way. That'll be after the next time I come and see you.
Yeah.
However, what we'll do from there is any concerns that you've got, you just raise them through myself or Adrienne, and we'll go from there. And then obviously, if there is something that crops up, that's something that will come through to me, and we'll discuss it. Okay. Simple as that, and we will get that sorted. Now, if you think it is a weapon, or you say, hold on a second, this is not true. Obviously, I have direct contact with the police, so I can have that conversation. Hey, listen, I've spoken to Michael. It's not true.
Yeah.
I can have that
But more
conversation.
than that, in terms of treating the problem, it has made the problem worse, not better.
Okay, I understand that, and obviously, it's. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not.
You and Adriana, just explain why do you think they didn't bother to check these allegations with us?
I don't have those answers, I'm afraid.
I can't understand the logic of it.
It's hard for us to comment. I mean, from a professional's point of view, it would be invalid. It would be wrong of me to suggest or assume why they didn't. Yeah. It's not down to me, I'm afraid. And I don't want to answer something that I'm not 100% certain of, if that makes sense.
How on earth can they justify it?
And promethazine wasn't promethazine. Is it 100 milligrams you're having of quetiapine? Is it just the one?
Yes, one.
Just one.
I think it's 5 milligrams, isn't it?
Of quetiapine?
Yeah.
No, this one's
5 or is it 10?
100 milligrams per tablet.
Oh, is it? That one.
For the quetiapine, yeah. The promethazine.
Well, I take one of those tablets, the yellow ones.
Yeah, so one of them.
Yeah, and I take one of the other ones.
And
two of those ones, that's 200 milligrams.
Yeah, so 200. So your sertraline's already sorted?
Yeah, I've got sertraline, yeah.
Okay.
And the diazepam is 2 milligrams.
Okay, got you. Diazepam. So you're not having any promethazine, is that correct?
No.
No, diazepam 2 milligrams.
Yeah. I can't understand a universe in which someone can misrepresent themselves online and it not be a crime.
Furthermore, if anything does happen with regards to next door, obviously we have direct access, you see, to obviously.
Yeah, which is
so
good.
so it's going to be it'll be a quicker process going through us for your concerns as well.
Yeah.
So on your side of things, it's good.
Yeah.
I understand you think well, I'm not saying it isn't. I'm not saying it is, but obviously it's been so. I think what's been going on there is just to mediate the situation. I know you don't like mediation. I understand that, but if next door neighbours are doing something, you can come straight to us. But if we can be able to stop that and keep you guys kind of just further you a little bit away from them, at least then. And
as long as you accept that we have taken no direct steps against next door, it's always been the other way around. And so what's in there, as far as we're concerned, is us to continue as normal.
Yeah.
But treating as if what we've been doing has been bad, and it's a huge. I mean, in terms of the blackness surrounding on Michael, just from that allegation, that presumption, is medically. I can't express it.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you exactly how I would express it. I'm currently thinking about going down to the civic centre and going to the top of the building and pull myself off it.
Okay. But you're able to comment on that anyway, and I know you're going to obviously comment back to.
We need that. Well, effectively, we need that withdrawn. Otherwise,
morning, I come for another meeting, so I'm going to be in the office in the afternoon. So if you just take this evening sort of to read through,
and you can come back tomorrow morning.
I'll come back tomorrow morning and we can discuss sort of what. As he said, he's given me a copy as well.
Oh no, that's fine. Yeah, tomorrow's fine. Yeah.
So I'll nothing to stop him contacting yellow bricks, purple bricks, any other things by proxy, because he's not doing it. I mean,
we can discuss a bit further because, as he said, this is a low-level warning that's at the beginning of sort of police powers.
You do appreciate that because it appears to be that Michael's been treated exactly the same as him. It has caused a genuine, serious problem that Michael is now going to probably have to take 24 hours worth of rest to begin to deal with.
I can accept that. I can see that.
And I think they will use it as a weapon.
If they do,
every other time.
And as they have been served, if they do anything, the point that they have been given this low-level warning, that's the point of it. If something does happen,
he will.
Now it's not sort of just a hearsay or we.
In the next 2 days, I suspect he will say to the police, "You're still pointing the camera at my property," and then the police will have to come around and saying you're in breach of an order.
If it's not unfounded, though, you can.
Yeah, but the chap went outside. PCR went outside, looked at it, and said that looks okay.
Because if he said that and they call and say,
but that's
he
not
comes
the
back
point.
and it's exactly the same.
No, that's not the point.
Then it can't be in breach.
The point is, if he rings the police and says it's breach of an order, they have to come around here and treat it as if it's breach of an order until they sort it out. That is harassment by proxy, and that's what he will do.
Okay. That's what and
if he does that, contact me immediately, and then I'll see how that works. So we're quite an immediate. So the number you've got there, we're quite an immediate front.
The important thing is, I don't think PCM understands the weapon that he's handed.
Okay.
He thinks he's provided an even answer.
This isn't the end of this, but with PCM's involvement either, because as he mentioned, the contract that would come up, it would take some time going on that you would have input to say. To be able to pinpoint sort of what behaviours are particularly concerning.
When you come tomorrow,
and I'll explain a bit more about how you can have input and how.
This is the only camera. You can see that the lens is pointing direct to that back door. Okay? That's the only one. The only other camera.
Is that a light?
No, that's a sensor. So he's got a dirty boiler there, and he's making us sick. So that's why the fan is there to keep pushing his air out. He refuses to.
And this camera, does it catch this bit here, does it?
Yeah.
That's
and you must have seen pictures from that camera.
That's right.
Okay. The only other camera that's been in here, we had a bird feeder here.
Right.
And we were taking pictures of the birds for social media. That's the only other one.
In that case, you're already not doing anything.
Yeah, but you say you've seen pictures which are wrong, and I don't know where they are. So until I see that picture, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Because those are the only two things.
Right. Well, there was the footage was of your neighbour's property.
Yeah, so that was looking at this then.
It might well have done, but it was also shown into the neighbour's property, all right? So that's been dealt with, and that's not there
Yeah,
anymore, and
but
that's no problem. That's fine.
But
So
it would be really helpful if we could see the picture, and the picture that has caused you the concern.
All right.
Because then we know what we're talking about. We don't know what we're talking about without facts.
All right. Well, it must be that because it's pointing towards that fence there. So if there was a camera there, now you've taken it down. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, this is my first time here, so I've not been here for 12 months, have I? So.
I know, but that's why we're worried that you've come to a final conclusion.
Well, you have.
Been here first.